Lori, what'd you do today? Tell me something. Come on, tell me something good.
Meetings. And then
Like
what did I do?
coaching?
It's gorgeous here. Yes, coaching meeting. We have been planning out our next challenge, which is going to be mind blowing. It's going to be so much fun. Totally awesome.
Isn't
Then
it
what did I
fun when you get
do?
the time to actually think about and plan and like, all right, here's what I'm going to take
Yes,
everybody through after getting to know the community? It's awesome.
exactly.
That's cool.
Bunch of bike fit clients. Just took a walk to the beach because my UPS driver does not know where I live and keeps delivering everything to someone else's house. So I had to walk over there, but it was a good excuse to get out in the sun. And everybody's out in bikinis today. It's like,
Sweet.
oof, yeah, not
Not
me,
here,
but
50 degrees,
I know.
although it's almost bikini weather. Vermont is like fair game bikini at 50 degrees. You could do it.
Exactly. I remember in college in upstate New York laying out in the sun in February on the roof when it was freezing, but sunny.
Heck,
So,
heck yeah, that's how it goes. Well, that's
yeah,
cool. I mean, you got such nice feedback from the pedal technique and form last week. I just
yeah.
wanted to follow up on that. I did a post, and everybody else got to weigh in on their pedal technique and what was working for them. And yeah, I think a lot of people really had some takeaways from that, which was very cool, myself
Mhm.
included. Like on my rides, both indoors and outdoors, since we spoke last, I totally felt my hips back,
Hmm.
abs somewhat engaged. You can't really keep your abs engaged all the time, but
Right.
just good posture and glutes working. And man, it really, that was super helpful. And I think the
Yeah.
other folks found it helpful too. But do you want to touch back on anything sticking out in your mind?
No, I've gotten some good feedback. What I would say is if you all have some other ideas of things you'd like to see, let us know because that was fun. It's much more fun to do things than to say things. So I would say give us your feedback, your ideas. Let's have a good time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with Maggie Craig, who is just a diehard on every meeting, on in every challenge and everything. I was just on the phone with her a little while ago, and she gave me a whole list of topics, including socks and shoes. Like how long could you talk about socks? Probably a half hour, really.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If I can talk for 45 minutes about a handlebar on a road bike, I can talk for at least an
Sweet.
hour about a chamois
Oh, I
or a
can't
pair of
wait.
socks. So, yeah,
I can't
happy
wait.
to cover anything they would like.
I got a couple shout outs though for the technique and form post. So Chris Lomas or Lamas, sorry, David Sawinski, Kelly Howard, Shelly King, and of course the usuals who are always in there, always posting up. My foundation crew, thank you everybody for posting stuff up. That is awesome. But I have a special shout out for Jason Bald, who kind of challenged us a little bit and challenged the schedule and the lack of the timers and everything. And I actually saw that as an opportunity to get on the phone with him. I had an awesome phone call with him, and he's up in Ontario and preparing for a an off road race that's coming up at the end of April. It's like a little bit of road, a little bit of gravel, a little bit of trail. And I've actually had a coaching client do that same race. So just he's just looking to customize his plan and make sure he's training right for his events. We had an awesome talk about that, which I will come back to as far as the
Good.
customization stuff. But yeah, how about we run through the classes and the workouts and stuff for next week? Lori, what do you got for us next week as far as classes?
A little more power zone. So a little more intensity, more time at intensity. One of the things that I started noticing today on the Facebook group actually was, first of all, most of you are succeeding. And those of you who are finding the workouts challenging have noticed, well, maybe we need to look at our zones. We're riding a little too hard or a little too easy. So we might need to readdress those. But surprisingly, everybody is succeeding, I think, even though many of you thought, oh God, she's nuts and why are we doing this hard workout? One of the things that I think you'll all notice is as we do these harder workouts during the week, once you get to your endurance, you're going to feel like this is a great relief and I can ride nice and easy and maybe we're not going to push it. When we look at endurance, especially for outdoors, riding at the top of zone 3 is not endurance. So we want to make sure that you're taking your easy days easy, taking the recovery intervals really easy, and also taking your days off. So we're going to start the week with a 45-minute Power Zone ride with Olivia on Monday. And then on Wednesday, we have our second Power Zone ride of the week. We're going to be with Sam also for 45 minutes. So we're really going to push you a little bit this week. But the good news is next week, we get our party, we get to recover. So it's going to be an awesome week to pull back. On the weekend, our third key ride of the weekend is going to be 90-minute Power Zone Endurance. So we're going to go nice and long, but I want you really to focus on keeping it easy to moderate. We don't want to hammer these rides. You're not getting the benefit from the harder, more intense intervals if you're going hard all the time or going moderate all the time. So we really want to see those extremes. When it's time to go hard, we want to go hard. When it's time to go easy, we really want to go easy. This week, TSS is going to be 337, so up from last week at 292. And then, as I said, next week is recovery. And what does that mean for you? So fatigue is not a bad thing. We want to train while we're in a state of fatigue. We want to create fatigue. That's progressive overload. But that means you have to recover. So think about what else you're doing. If this is your only program, that's great. But if you're taking your days off and doing something else, that's going to affect your ability to succeed in this program. So really focus on take the recovery, take the easy week next week. Yeah. So, and I would say try not to overpower your zones and power zone endurance. I know we all do it. I'm one of those people that tends to ride at the top of my zones right, but it doesn't benefit us. So going hard all the time, trying to PR an endurance ride is probably not your best strategy. So, and I would say, as I said, if you're doing other types of training while you're doing this program as well, really be mindful of what you're doing and when you're doing it, because we have these key workouts. We really want to succeed at these. So maybe everything else is going to take a little bit of a backseat. So, but next week we get to recover.
Sounds good. So next week being week 3, but the following week, week 4, being the recovery week.
Yes, exactly.
So we're here on Thursday. We're actually right now we're in week 2, but next week being week 3, and you're going to work hard in week 3. But and you're talking about adding other programs or other workouts. Probably
right.
everybody. There's a lot of people in here. Other strength, but what about more volume?
Running
Can people
or
add?
yeah.
Do you have a specific for how somebody
well, again,
can
if I'm going to add
volume,
I want to be consistent with that. So I would say you're always okay adding on endurance. We don't necessarily want to add more intensity. And I really suggest you honor your days off. So many people are afraid of taking a day off. One day off is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you better. It's not going to make you weak. You're not going to fall off the wagon by taking one day off each week. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that, man. I really moved up a level in racing and competition and everything by learning to recover. So we'll talk about, recovery is coming. I'm sure we'll touch on that next week and everything, but let me go. Is that cool if I go through the no class schedule?
Oh yeah.
If you're out of class, Monday has a 20-minute sweet spot interval. I've got you at 91% of FTP. Okay, 20 minutes. I believe this week we did two 13-minute intervals or something. So this is a bump up, one continuous on Monday, and then Wednesday I have you at 2 10-minute FTP zone 4 intervals. I chose 98% of FTP to be precise. Saturday is the other key ride, being the 90-minute ride with 3 12-minute zone 3 rides. I pegged it at 87%. So kind of redlining in zone 3, being that this is week 3. We went 83, 85, 87. So I made the Saturdays progressively harder. So if you're down for it, throw those out at 87%. And I did, for excitement, I threw in a little 2-minute zone 5 interval at the end. Now I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but that is negotiable. That 2-minute, that 2-minute zone 5. It's 2 minutes at zone 5. It's not undoable. What I'm saying is it could be harder or it could be easier. I threw it out at 105%. If you're following the timers, it's going to come out at 105%. Look at the structure ahead of time. Look at the timer ahead of time and realize what's coming. After you've done your intervals, there is a hard 2-minute set at the end. And so, like Lori, I'm not afraid to throw out some zone 6 in week 2 or even week 1. It's actually, I got a funny story about that in a second. Let me get through this week. So uh, Thursday has an 80/70 ride. So it's my structure, but it's just like, I think it's 5 minutes in 80% and 4 minutes at 70%. So it's what I throw in for the endurance rides. Sunday has more 75%. Okay, my favorite, just 75% of FTP for 50 minutes. Actually, the timer gives you 49 minutes and then 1 minute cooldown. But I'm saying here, if you're listening, do the full 50 minutes and then take an extra 10 minutes to do a proper cooldown beyond what the timer has. So that will put you longer than an hour and a half, or longer than an hour on Sunday. But cool. So if you're looking at TSS, weekly TSS for my week is 293, up from, shoot, I wrote down up from 296, but that's not right. It's 293 up from 256, I believe. And if you want to add in warm-ups and cooldowns, you'll be right up into the 300s, even with the class plans. So speaking of adding extra, Lori talked about adding extra volume or adding extra and really relying on the days off. I want to talk about making your own adjustments, and this is what I talked with Jason Bald about, and my clients all the time. Actually, we throw a plan down. There's no way this plan can be good for 5,000 people. We're all different. Right, Lori? If you and I both have an FTP of 200, we're even, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, what if you can hold 200 for an hour and a half and I can only hold it for 35 minutes? We're not the same.
Exactly.
What if I can hold 500 watts for a minute and you can hold 400 watts for a minute? But our FTPs are the same. How come we're not the same? So there's a lot of differences between people. There's a lot of differences in where you are in your fitness journey. What if I'm year 1 and Lori, you've been doing this for 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Big differences. What if you've got a Hincapie race coming up this weekend? Yes,
I do.
you're
So I
racing this
might want to
weekend.
modify well, racing is a very generous term. I'm going to ride
Event.
my gravel bike in a race. Yeah. And I
Event.
might want to modify my training a bit, right? I may want to be really
Weeks
fresh
ago,
going
you're
in.
leading up to this. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Chill. Right.
So,
Exactly.
well,
So
maybe
anyway, we're
chill or maybe do some intensity leading into it on Friday. Do a couple
but
little
we're
openers and get the
oh, I
legs and
like
lungs
your
going.
style.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
your style, absolutely. But we're all different, is the point. And so I expect everybody to learn to make some adjustments on this plan. You got to make the plan your plan. It's not laid out for everybody. There's no way we could do that. So, um, 3 things you can adjust to the plan as it comes out based on your own decisions and discussions and everything. You can adjust intensity, frequency, or volume. Okay, you can make rides harder, you can do them more often or less often, and you can ride more time overall. Okay, those 3 things, and I think you've heard that before. But so since we're all different, what are we doing here? Well, we're on a team. That's an amazing part of this whole thing. We've got thousands of people on this team working together, and the Facebook group brings us all together, and discussions, like the opportunity to talk with somebody like Jason or Maggie I talked with today, is amazing. I get a chance to learn. Hopefully the athletes get a chance to learn. And so I would like everybody to feel comfortable to challenge, but do so expecting a discussion, because people are going to jump in and discuss and do it with the intent of learning and sharing and making us all better
Hmm.
collectively. Um, Specifically this week, so yeah, the baby rhino ride, which I didn't know, Lori. I guess I forget who told me today. The baby rhino ride got its name because I guess Dennis said when he's done with Peloton, he's going to train baby rhinos. Is that what it is?
great question.
Okay, in the class, that's what I said. All right. Well,
I
so
had
anyway,
never heard that term until they started throwing it around this weekend, and
I
I was like,
think I think Dennis
okay,
talks about being a rhino trainer
yeah.
uh, after his Peloton career. So anyway, the baby rhino ride. I love that you challenged us with that ride this week and kind of threw an apple at the beehive. Right, everybody's
Hmm.
buzzing around and
But
talking,
look how
and
successful everybody was.
oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we will
I used to
rise
get
to the
harassed
occasion.
by other teams and coaches, and maybe Matt Wilpers remembers this. We would be in January and February doing sprints and intervals in Central Park, and he's like, or not he, other teams were like, Greg, what are you doing to your team? And then in March and April, I'm like, we're winning races. That's what we're doing. I
Yeah,
love it. So I'm not afraid of the high intensity as long as it's not too much. You can obviously
right.
overdo it, but this was
And you can't
one
do the
ride.
same thing year round, so
Right.
we wanted to shake it up a little bit.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So good job. But also, you can adjust things. So if this is not right for you, you can modify it and build up your confidence. And next time, if this is your first challenge and you feel like that's too much for you, I'm going to try zone 5 for those last couple intervals because I'm just going to go conservative. And then next time, build up your confidence, make your decisions based on what you've done, talk to your teammates and make decisions. That's what we want.
But I would say don't stay away from a ride because you're afraid of it. I've had rides where I have to halfway through ride it out in zone two, and I'm going to make that decision as I go. So give yourself the opportunity to succeed. I think that's really important instead of just pushing back and saying, no, I can't do zone five, I can't do zone six, or I don't want
A-
to do zone five or zone six. Try. And if it doesn't
Absolutely.
work for you
Sorry.
on that
Yeah.
day, you just spin it out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give yourself credit, but you also know yourself best. And yeah, oh man, it feels good when you succeed. When you're challenged, you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, and then it works out. That's one of the cool things about all this. So anyway, some were skeptical, and remember that a couple minutes ago when I said everybody's different, and we talked about everybody being different. Yeah, look how well it worked out. Anyway,
Hmm.
what do we do though? We're all different. Start discussions. Discussions. I can't stress it enough. And I'm inviting others. If you want, you can write to Lori or myself, and we'll start the discussions. You can post up discussions and present them yourself. I love it. I put out something about a weekly topic, and 68 people are writing about it. Let's get more of that. You can learn so much. So some examples could be, look, after studying the upcoming Wednesday ride, I've decided that I'm going to do the last zone 6 interval at the bottom of zone 6. And this is why. Is this a good idea? What do you all think? And you'll get feedback from the team. The team is amazing. Everybody, there's some really smart people in here. Or I'm adding volume to my weekend ride because something like that. So pretend like you're asking a coach, like you're asking Lori or myself. And it's amazing because all of the community will answer. And Lori and I just have to go in and read the answers and hit like. Lori, it's awesome. um, so I shouldn't say answer all the answers, the discussions. There's no answers. There are just discussions, and then each individual ultimately has to make their own decision about what to do. So um, let's use this opportunity, though. Every opportunity when somebody challenged, when Lori challenged us with a hard ride, when Jason challenged us about the schedule, let's use these opportunities to make sure we're leaning into the team for learning, but also for support, for learning, getting to know each other, but also to challenge one another, right? That's okay to do. And ultimately, we're trying to train better, to train smart. What do you think, Lori?
I'm looking at comments here, seeing what questions folks have. We're
Yeah, sweet.
all over the
Sweet.
place on Facebook, but I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think just remember we're a big family, and it's amazing to be able to be in a leadership position, and we do the best we can with the schedules. But ultimately, you all make decisions, and we're here to learn. So
Exactly.
I think that's it for tonight. That's good. We did the schedule. We did our topics. I am out of town, out of Facebook land next week. So you and Brian, I guess, are going to take the helm,
We
and
are.
everybody is
We'll
in
see
for
how
a
we do with the
treat.
tech.
Probably better than me. I am the least tech genius there is.
Yeah. We're going to, it looks like we're going to do some goal setting conversations as well.
Sweet.
And we'll have some good stuff for you. I promise.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, everybody enjoy week 3. Work hard. Post up in the Facebook group. Reach
Yeah.
out if we could be helpful. And we will talk to you. Lori and Brian will
Soon.
talk to you next week. And I'll see you again after
And you're
that.
going to
So
have an awesome time. Post some photos.
I will do it. I will do
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Everybody. Lori, thank you. Talk to you all soon. All right.